Hello and welcome to episode 13.
Yes.
Be afraid of the SolarQuotes Vodcast after a week's break for Easter.
Easter, and we also had Anzac Day, so we remembered the past and we look towards the future, remembering only real peace can bring us together.
Good point. Let's crack on.
Cracking on.
Hot topic at the moment, Victorian solar crisis.
Yes.
Talks continue. So this is
What a mess.
What a mess. So an entirely predictable mess.
Yep. So let's give out a rebate, some money to get solar. Great. Let's grab that hose, twist it, cut off the flow of money for a couple of months for no good reason, and causing solar installers to be out of work for 2.5 months. It's really badly run.
Yep. So it had become the norm in Victoria for people to get an extra $2,250 off the cost of the solar. Then they stopped it in a heartbeat, and everyone's ground to a halt in Victoria. Now, when they first announced this Victorian solar rebate, they gave us the numbers, and you wrote about it, Ronald. You said, yep, it's definitely going to run out before July the 1st.
Oh, yeah.
It ground to a halt, and people are acting surprised. I mean, I'm absolute sympathy for the solar installers, because, you know, generally what you do is you just look at what's happening now and you staff up and you sell solar like crazy.
Yep.
But and now they're struggling, man. They've built up all these overheads. They've designed their businesses around a certain volume, and it's all come crashing. I guess people didn't actually believe the government would let everything grind to a halt.
Yes. Build up the industry, contribute money to training people, and then turn off the spigot. And it's completely unnecessary. They could have just slightly reduced the amount at the rebate. And when they came up with a scheme, maybe they didn't have all the details planned out. That's okay. They had time to fix it. They didn't fix it.
I think they should have given away half the rebate. Say, it should have been an $1,100 rebate, and it should have not stopped.
Yeah.
It could have just continuously gone for however many years they want the program to continue, and not start, stop.
Yes.
And they still would have sold a crap load of solar, because solar's such a good buy, no matter where you are in Australia.
Yep.
An extra $1,100 off would have worked just as well, I think, and it would have been more manageable.
Tasmania is the only place you have to be really careful to make sure it's worthwhile.
I mean, it's interesting because this blog post, the crisis talks, I think you've got the Clean Energy Council, you've got the Smart Energy Council, and talking to the Victorian government, everyone's going, It's like, guys, when they announced this scheme, both of yous, to use a Scottish terminology, both of yous were, this is brilliant, amazing, thank you, Victorian government. Not once did you say, hang on, this is going to run out before July, which Ronald pointed out. Let's redesign the scheme, because you were so eager to get that free government money. Just like, give it to the industry. You should have totally anticipated this. And what we've done on the website, just out of interest, is, and no other lead generator in Australia will do this, I guarantee it. If you ask for leads through SolarQuotes right now and you put in a Victorian postcode, you get this pop-up before you can even request quotes. And what it says is, hello, I see you are from Victoria. If you already have applied for the Victorian solar rebate, up to $2,250, and have had eligibility confirmed by the government, then please go ahead and get quotes. Because then you've got your rebate confirmed, you can get a solar system and get the rebate, no problem. If you have not yet applied for the Victorian solar rebate, then please be aware that the Victorian solar rebate is now fully subscribed. As of 12th of April 2019, it will reopen for applications on the 1st of July 2019. And this is really important. If you buy solar before the 1st of July, you cannot then claim the rebate after the solar has been installed. If you want to claim the rebate, you must wait until July, apply for the rebate, then get it installed. So we have seen, as you might imagine, quote requests from Victoria fall off a cliff since we put this up. So that is costing SolarQuotes a lot of money. Not nearly as much money as the solar installers are losing. But we've done that because it's the right thing to do, because it informs the consumer that, the truth about the rebate. So you would have thought if they read that, I know some people just go click, click, click. Anyone that reads that will know that if they're getting quotes for solar now, they will not get the rebate if they haven't already got it approved. And two, it stops the public getting through to our clients, the solar installers, and wasting their time thinking they're going to get the rebate, finding out they're not going to get it, and then cancelling their quote requests until July. So it's the right thing to do. I'd be surprised. Well, I know that no other lead generator in Australia will do that.
True.
What a shit fight.
Yeah. Pointless.
They brought it out because they wanted to win the election.
Yes.
I don't know if you could have designed a better way to try and destroy small and medium solar businesses. Government trying to do too much, all motivated by trying to win an election.
Yeah.
Selfish bastards. All right, moving on. Ooh. Let's talk about electric cars, because they're cool.
They're cool. They're cool.
Even
the Tesla ones are.
I told my mechanic just yesterday that my next vehicle will be electric. So hopefully he can still service it. I'm not sure what he'll do to it.
They do something, I'm sure.
So this blog post is about Australians backing electric vehicles. Well, you can read the post, but it's basically Australians are really, really keen on the idea of electric vehicles, despite what the Liberal Party will tell you. Talking about the fuel efficiency standard that is proposed.
Yep.
What's the magic number?
105 grams per kilometre. That's 105 grams of carbon dioxide emissions per kilometre you drive.
Right.
That's what's floated. My Hyundai Get, not quite there. It's about 135 grams per kilometre.
But the point is, all cars won't have to be less than that.
Yeah.
The average
My
fleet.
car is 14 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are plenty of new small cars which are there or beat well below that. And it's the average you buy.
The fleet average. So
fleet
if
average,
Holden are selling cars in Australia and this emission standard happens and it's at that number, then the average will have to be that.
Yeah, that's the way it works in every other
So
country.
how does Holden get their fleet down to that?
They sell some hybrids and electric cars, or you can trade, probably.
Well, let's have a look how easy it would be if you have a few electric and hybrid vehicles in your fleet. This is from the Green Vehicle Guide, Australian government website. This is the top CO2 performers, March 2019. Hyundai Ioniq EV. So basically that has a 0 grams per kilometre. That's going to bring your average down.
Definitely.
So I think it's good. It's forcing them. Well, they don't need forcing.
No.
Any car manufacturer that in the next 5 years doesn't have a fleet of EVs and at least plug-in hybrids is going to be toast, you would have thought.
People are going to want to drive electrics. The average person is going to want to drive them because most people who buy new cars, they're interested in performance, they're interested in speed. So electric cars have much better performance per dollar than the old internal combustion ones.
That's the other reason I'm selling my car this year.
Oh, you're.
So I think it'll be almost worthless in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah.
Like a film camera. Good luck selling one of those.
Yep.
So at the moment you can buy a Hyundai Ioniq, Renault Zoe, BMW i3, Renault Kangoo ZE, that's a van I think, Tesla Model S, Tesla Model X, Jaguar I-Pace, that's all the electric vehicles. And then it goes into plug-in hybrids. So your Audi A3 e-tron is 35 grams per kilometre of CO2. So your plug-in hybrids are really good as well.
Yeah. And it all depends how you drive them. Some people drive their plug-in hybrids almost all electric, just around town, very rarely using the petrol. And I'll point out that if you're charging from the grid, it is going to result in some emissions, but we're going to have 50% renewable energy in Australia by 2030. So, and it's going to continue to improve. My opinion, it'll improve very rapidly.
So just for fun, let's compare the top CO2 performers with the best-selling cars in Australia in
Yes,
March.
how do they work out?
So top is your Toyota Hilux, CO2 194 to 277 grams per kilometre.
Shameful for a Japanese car. They don't drive them in Japan, you know. You don't see them on the Japanese roads.
Yeah, then you've got your Ford Ranger, which is nearly as bad. Mazda 3, which isn't too bad. The ones that are good, you've got a high to a low range of CO2 emissions, are the Toyota Corolla, which goes down to 97 because you've got a hybrid.
Yep.
And then you've got the plug-in hybrid Mitsubishi Outlander, which goes all the way down to 41.
Very good.
That's pretty good. So plug-in hybrids, man.
Yeah.
If you're not going to go all electric, are the way forward, I think.
Yeah, if you're on the road traveling through the country, yeah.
Yeah. Next.
Don't panic.
This is one that you wrote.
Oh, yeah.
PERC solar panels and LETID. Cause for concern but not panic. So, Ronald, I think we need to know what PERC is quickly and what LETID is.
Right. Solar panels, a big new thing in the last 2 years has been PERC panels. It's just a way to make solar panels a little more efficient.
How much more efficient?
1 percentage point.
So from like 18% to 19%.
Yeah, something like that. Roughly 1 percentage point. So it's not a huge change, but every little bit helps. So a lot of companies switched over to making PERC panels. Trouble is, they found that PERC panels can be very susceptible to light and elevated temperature-induced deterioration or degradation. Take your pick for those Ds. LETID. LeTID.
LeTID.
Sounds like a French criminal. And so, some panels, cheap, bad panels generally, have been found to have 8% deterioration per year as a result of LeTID. Talking about PERC panels here. So obviously you want to avoid them because they'll be out of their performance warranty very rapidly. The good news is
you want to avoid PERC panels, or you want to avoid cheap PERC
you want to
panels?
avoid cheap, crappy PERC panels from no-name manufacturers. Whether you should put PERC panels from well-known manufacturers, you'll have to decide. Some have gone all out on this and they guarantee their panels don't suffer from this deterioration, and others, they're keeping quiet on the whole subject, which makes me concerned. But all the big manufacturers are onto this problem, and in 2020 to sell a panel here it'll have to be certified as LeTID resistant. But this article is all thanks to Ben Neville at MC Electrical. He wrote the original article that brought it to everyone's attention. He did lots of research on it, and so I advise everyone who's interested in it to check it out.
And is he selling PERC panels?
MC Electrical only sells PERC panels if they're 100% certain that they won't have a problem. They don't want any of their customers to have a crappy install.
And they don't want to be going back replacing panels.
Yeah, it's obviously good business sense, definitely. If you want to be in business long term, that's what you need to do.
Yeah, cool. Next blog post. Solar businesses facing action over sales and marketing tactics. This is a couple of solar businesses, one in Victoria where it's alleged. Do you like my legal training there?
Staying out of trouble there.
Where it's alleged they did some naughty things selling solar. The other company is in hot water because it is alleged that, I don't think it was them, but someone that they contracted, I think, was calling people allegedly on the do not call register.
Yep.
Trying to get them interested in solar. So what is quite common in Australia is companies that will sell sales leads to solar installers. That's what we do. But some people, they will get those leads by engaging almost always overseas call centers because they're much, much cheaper to ring up. You've probably got these calls. They're checking if you're eligible for the solar rebate.
Yeah.
Which in itself is misleading because everyone is eligible for the solar rebate if they're installing less than 100 kilowatts. And basically they use all sorts of, I would say, misleading ways to get you to say, yes, I'm interested in talking to a solar consultant. And then they sell your details to one or more solar companies as a solar sales lead.
Yeah.
Our business model is, if you go to the website and you proactively request up to 3 quotes. We then, with your permission, send your details to up to 3 solar companies we trust. But what we have never done and never will do, we will never cold call people asking them if they want solar on the phone, because I personally don't like getting cold calls, so I wouldn't inflict it on anyone else.
No.
All the, what we call sales leads, all the referrals we give out through SolarQuotes, people, they might have seen one of our adverts, or they might have come to the website by other means, and they've said, you know what, I think I want quotes. And they've gone in and they've asked for those quotes. Yeah, so that's how we work. It's all online. It's all people coming to us saying they want quotes, not us calling up people trying to convince them to get quotes.
Yes. I have an article on something.
Oh, you wrote one of those, what, 6 months ago?
Yeah, something like that. On being cold called and your rights and some of the shenanigans they get up to. For some reason, the article is full of pictures of cartoon ponies. I don't know why. I gave my daughter access to my laptop, but she refused to remove them. She said, I'm not responsible for your taste in artwork. So, you know, what can I do?
Yes, moving on. This is another one of yours. Pmax and NOCT, how solar panels perform in the heat. What's Pmax? What's NOCT?
Okay, Pmax is temperature coefficient of
Max power.
max power, yes. So basically, the hotter your panels get, the less efficient they work. That Pmax is how much less efficient they are. Now, before anyone panics, I will point out that while solar panels lose efficiency in the heat, fossil fuel power stations can lose even more efficiency. Don't let anyone pull the wool over your eyes and panic because solar panels lose efficiency.
So Pmax measures for every degree rise in panel temperature, how much the efficiency drops. What about NOCT?
NOCT is how hot the panel will actually get when it's sitting in the sun.
What does it stand for?
Oh, god damn it. Something. I don't know.
When you're ready.
I can't remember.
Normal operating cell temperature?
Thank you. It's 800 watts of solar energy or light energy per square meter falling on a panel with wind at air temperature of 25 degrees and a wind of 1 meter per second, which isn't wind at all. It doesn't even count as a breeze. And then they measure the temperature the panel gets.
So the important thing here is that the panel temperature is almost always going to be different to the air temperature.
Yeah.
And you use the panel temperature when you're calculating the efficiency of the panel and how much it's dropped due to Pmax.
Yes. So a typical panel at NOCT will hit about 45 degrees.
Yeah.
And a better panel will hit 43. It'll be cooler. And the cooler, the better.
Which panel has the best temperature performance?
The Panasonic HIT panel.
Which you can't get in Australia.
Correct.
But
well, unless, I don't know, eBay it, I don't know.
But that is I'm pretty sure that's the same technology that Tesla is using to make its solar panels, which you can't get in Australia either. But yes. I'm sure you will be able to soon when Tesla try and take over the Australian solar market by selling Powerwalls and solar panels directly.
Yes. Do you think those panels will be cheap?
No.
No, I doubt it.
Yeah, but I imagine they'll make a big song and dance about them being objectively the best performing panels in high temperatures. What they probably won't tell you is that they put this pretty nice looking but stupid skirt around the solar panels, which as far as I can see stops any airflow and stops the air moving underneath them and cooling them down. So that will have a negative effect on the temperature performance.
Can they actually do that in Australia, or is that against standards?
Oh, good point. Yeah. I think that's actually against the standards.
Yeah, I think so.
So maybe they won't do it.
Yeah.
Or maybe they'll just do it anyway because they're Tesla.
Thing. Oh, right.
I'm sure they wouldn't. I'm sure they won't.
I'm sure they'll abide. Oh, well, yeah. Maybe all their promotional pictures will have it. Yeah.
Yes. Or maybe we'll just all be using solar tiles by then.
Oh, yes.
Ripping all the colour bond off.
That's right. They're ready now. They're ready 2 years ago, weren't they? Oh, but they seem to have disappeared. Anyway, let's move on.
Let's move on from panel temperature. Here's some interesting news. We hit 400,000 people have requested quotes through SolarQuotes last week. So I reckon that's 1 in 15 owner-occupied homes, about 1 in 25 homes in Australia, because there's 10 million homes in Australia.
Yeah.
About 60% of those are owner-occupied. What do you think of that?
That's awesome.
Yeah, started 10 years ago. I reckon that's a house on every street, probably.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Some people might think that we've been pushing really hard in terms of just trying to get quantity of people through the site. Actually, the opposite is true. We have a very, very long, a stupidly long get quotes form. And the reason it's that long is we want to, the tire kickers, the people that aren't serious about getting solar, we want to put those people off because we only want to put serious people through to our installers, because our installers are generally, very serious about spending time with people and quoting people, and they only want to quote serious people. So I think if we had a much, much shorter form, I mean, I know some of our competitors ask maybe 6 questions. We asked, I think, 15. I think we could have got 1 million by now.
Yes.
But we're after quality, not quality of referrals, not quantity, because I think that's better for everyone.
Quality of referrals and also quality of installers. He puts a lot of work into making sure that the installers we refer do good quality work.
Only took 10 years. Overnight success.
I expect you to triple that over the next 10. Come on.
We'll see. We'll see. The thing about SolarQuotes is we made a conscious decision recently. It's kind of always been there in the background, but a conscious decision to be better, not bigger. I think we will get bigger as we get better, but not just having, arbitrary targets like, this much turnover or this many quote requests.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
Yes. Growth for the sake of growth is the ideology of the cancer cell.
Yeah, it's always seemed a bit silly to me, that. Not cancer, that's very serious.
Yeah, definitely. I'm a Cancer.
Sorry?
I'm a Cancer.
Why is that?
It's my star sign.
Oh, okay. I'm a Leo.
Yeah.
We're talking about star signs.
Yes.
Let's move on, man.
Okay.
Worst review of the week. Thank you to Ned for choosing this one. See if you can guess who it is. I gave a deposit for a 6.6 kilowatt system. And the quote, I know the quote was for less than $3,000 as well. They kept on changing the installation dates as they insist on same day 100% payments, but bank will not pay the loaned amount until an inspector will approve. That's called a catch-22, I think.
Yes.
For this reason, they kept on moving the dates until 4 months later. Frustrated, I requested to refund my deposit and opted for another installer suggested by SolarQuotes. Bingo! Done in 2 weeks. Glad we could help, Mario. The salespeople are rude. This is the original solar company, not the ones we recommended. Never replied to the emails when after they knew I am requesting a refund. Their phone calls are hidden numbers, as always. That's interesting. So the salespeople are allegedly calling them up on private numbers, almost as if it's an overseas call center. As always, so you can't call them back. Delayed the deposit until now. I need consumer affairs on this. So it sounds like he has got his deposit back, but it took a while. And that was for a company called Sunboost. That's from Mario in 4131 Queensland. Let's move on to a good review.
Yes.
Again, Ned chose this. They're a company called Eversolar, and now I haven't heard of this solar company. They're a Victorian-based solar company, but it's a very good review. Not to be confused with, I think, Eversolar, who were an inverter manufacturer.
There's several. There's been several.
And there was a panel manufacturer a while back. I don't think they were very good panels, but not related to this company. And I think there's also a battery manufacturer called themselves Eversolar. So I'm not sure.
Lots of Eversolars around.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's a great name, but they appear to be doing a good job. Eversolar started at a high price, but after I had a number of quotes, they worked with me and the price came down significantly. He says in the details of the review that he paid under $6,000 for the 6.6 kilowatt system, so certainly wasn't a rip-off price, a reasonable price good price for good components by the looks of it. The service was exceptional and I was able to deal with the same salesperson. Unlike the other companies who quoted, they were able to install quickly. The others had a wait of 6 to 8 weeks. Well, that's impressive in Victoria a few weeks ago, before the government pulled the plug on the rebate. The after service has been excellent, with a consultant coming to my home to set up the monitoring app, explain how best to use the system and ensure the warranties are registered. Well, that's good to see. Eversolar were not the cheapest, but the quality is very good, and so far the system is showing significant savings in my bill. Friends have gone with cheaper deals and been disappointed, but I am very happy. So that is a vote of confidence from someone for Ever Solar in Victoria. Again, a company I hadn't heard of until I read that review, but good on you guys. That seems like good service. Okay, last article of episode 13, and nothing terrible's happened yet.
Yes, so far.
Chair hasn't collapsed.
Oh,
Lights haven't gone out.
My chair is a lot more likely to collapse than yours. It's just physics.
The best tilt for solar panels by Australian Capital.
Yes.
It's not. This was news to me. It's not what I've been telling people for 10 years. It's not equal to Latitude.
Yeah, and how wrong were you? How much of a difference does it make?
Let's have a look in Melbourne. What's that, 8 degrees? Sorry, 6 degrees. The optimal tilt is 32 degrees, which is 6 degrees lower than the Latitude, which is 38 degrees, which is the red bit.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yes.
How did you work that out?
I use the PV Watt site. I suppose there is a small risk the PV Watt site has screwed up their numbers, but they use local thank you.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Peter Piper picked a peck of
meteorological.
Thank you, meteorological data.
Meteorology.
And so I trust them to get it right. And so I've worked out what will give you the maximum output over the year. So, and yes, it's a little less than the Latitude. So here in Adelaide, did you put Alan Adelaide's?
No.
No. Oh. Well,
I thought we were too Adelaide centric.
Fair enough. It's 35 degrees, our location, our latitude, and it's I think 3 degrees less than that is the optimal tilt. And 35 degrees is North Brighton.
Great, good part of the world.
Good part of the world.
South Brighton's even better. So that 3 degrees, what's that difference is that going to make to your energy yield over 12 months?
Oh, in Hobart, 0.5%.
You really are going for the anal retentive audience.
Yes, I am. Compared to Latitude. Compared to, say, a 15-degree tilted roof in Hobart, 2%.
Yeah.
Roughly. I've really been going for people who are desperate to eke out every tiny bit. In Brisbane, the difference is 0.07% compared to a 22.5 degree tilted roof. So, yeah, not a lot.
Just whack them on the roof at the angle your roof's at.
Yep, and this is for people who have got a flat roof and are putting the panels in a tilt frame. You've got the freedom to orientate them and tilt them at exactly the right angle, or if you're putting them on the ground.
Or if you're designing and building your own house.
Yeah,
and you really want to fuck the builder off.
Yes.
I want my house, my roof at this angle, plus or minus 0.1 of a degree.
Yeah, being within a few degrees, it makes practically no difference, so do not stress.
So everywhere you looked at, the optimal was less than Latitude, apart from Darwin, where the optimal was more than Latitude.
Yes.
Optimal is 18.
Yes, they're very far
Latitude
north.
Is 12.
And they have a big cloudy rainy season in the middle of summer, so monsoon, the big wet. So yes, that's going to have an effect.
Yeah, cool.
And I've also got it all. I included the optimal direction and optimal tilt in a big for every capital in that article. So if you want to, if you're anally retentive, you want to put jacks under your house and adjust the orientation and tilt so your panels are just right, you can do it.
If you're anal, Ronald is your friend. Should we leave it there?
I'm going to let you leave it at that. I'm not going to go into that. I'm not going to go into that.
Till next week.